you so much for joining us. It's time to check in with Mona King Austin for our Slice Report. Hey, happy Friday to you, Mona.
Happy Friday, Cedric. Happy Friday, everyone. This is Mona Austin, and this is your Slice Report. Starting off the week, positive news coming out of Washington with a summit and celebration of the First Steps Act. If you're not familiar, that is the act that gives former inmates the opportunity to re-enter society with a smooth transition. You'll probably remember the woman who Kim Kardashian assisted, Alice Johnson, who was in prison for being a quote-unquote snitch involving drugs in Tennessee. Well, she was there on Monday, and she thanked her Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and President Trump. She said that if it weren't for God and for this administration, she would not have been released. But there's so much more work that needs to be done. President Trump announced that April will be First Steps Act month, and also that the second part of the bill, the Second Steps Act, will involve ensuring that corporations are ready to receive those who were formerly incarcerated. One of the main issues that was discussed is how it's difficult to make the transition when you cannot find housing or employment. And then also the White House is celebrating this coming into the month of April, good job numbers for the country. Now, also want to just celebrate and salute the winners of these stellar awards in Las Vegas. Everyone from the gospel industry was in Las Vegas last weekend, and they were able to honor Jonathan McReynolds, who was the male vocalist of the year, having received 8 awards, and Jacqueline Carr, who was the female vocalist of the year, with 3 awards. So congratulations to all of them. And also last weekend on the West Coast, Los Angeles was the place to be for the rest of Wakanda, where Beyonce was named the Entertainer of the Year at the NAACP Image Awards. This was the 50th year, and for the first time, they celebrated and had the event at the Dolby Theater there in Los Angeles, and it went off beautifully. Now, one of the highlights of the show was Representative Maxine Waters, who's over the House Finance Committee. She said that don't come for her unless she sends for you, because if you come for her, she's coming for you, and she is not afraid to use that gavel. And also, there was a little bit of controversy there because last week, Cedric, as you and everyone else probably knows, Jussie Smollett, the actor from Empire, his charges were dropped. And in dropping those charges, a lot of people's eyebrows were raised because there's really no explanation as to who was innocent and guilty in the entire hate crime hoax that came about in Chicago. And so Chris Rock at the NAACP Image Awards, he said that he was told not to make any jokes about Jussie Smollett. So, he translated that as, this is my invitation to go in on him. And that's exactly what he did. And he said that he would have used his light skin, implying that light skin has privilege. He would have used his light skin differently if he was Jussie Smollett, and that he does not respect what Smollett did, so much so that he is taking the "you" out of his name. And so there was controversy around that, but overall, with such a positive show, and the best picture went to none other than Black Panther.
Amen. Well, Mona, you did a great job. And by the way, I saw your friend, Gwen O'Quinn. We were backstage with the Aretha Franklin family. So I did say hello to her and thanked her for a great job when she talked what happened after the Queen's homegoing celebration that took place in the Motor City. So thanks for all you do, and I hope you have a great weekend, okay?
Thanks so much, Cedric. If I could just add one thing as we wrap up. We are still looking to see who is going to be running. We know that Beto O'Rourke and so many others have put their hats into the ring for the 2020 election. He was at the National Action Network event this week speaking, but there is still a little bit of concern. Is Joe Biden going to be able to run because of the controversy over him touching people inappropriately? Well, that is the one person analysts say would be a contender against President Trump. That's the one person Trump might feel that could be a competitor. Well, this morning, President Trump says that he does not see Biden as a threat. And in light of all of the negative press that's going around his name right now, he says that he believes that Biden is his own threat. And President Trump also, I just wanted to add that he is also saying that going forward, he really wants to concentrate on this prison reform, and he really wants to ensure that he has support from African Americans. Now, one thing that happened at the First Steps Act, I think people will find interesting, is one of the people who was released, he said all he knows is that 2 months ago, he was in prison, and today he stands in the White House, and to uproarious applause, he said, "Make America Great Again." So some people are thinking that that might give President a boost with African American voters. For more news on Washington, a full list of the NAACP Image Award winners, and a full list of the Stellar Award winners, visit thenewslice.blogspot.com. This is Mona Austin. You've been listening to the Slice Report on the Cedric Bailey Radio Show.